about tomorrow night. Obviously, an opportunity to play a great team, and more importantly, an opportunity for our seniors to be honored before the game, during the game, after the game. Can't say enough about Tyler Kolek and Oso Ighodaro. It's obviously unfortunate that Tyler won't be able to play, but the good news is we feel very confident that he will be able to play at some point very soon. So that's much better than the alternative. Very excited that tomorrow night gives us the opportunity as well to break the single season average attendance record, which is pretty amazing when you look at the history here at Marquette. And so just want to encourage everyone, our students, our fans, our alums, to be loud, to come early, to wear blue and gold, and to give us as much energy as we plan to give off to you.
How is Oso feeling? Is he good to go for tomorrow? Or?
He's feeling much better. Yeah, he had a really tough flu bug, and literally wasn't able to leave the hotel when we got on the bus to go to the Creighton game. But he's doing much better. He practiced yesterday. Chase Ross was also under the weather and was able to play, but just wasn't able to have the energy he normally has. He did not practice yesterday, but we expect him to be in practice today.
How is Tyler doing, not just physically, but mentally? We all know he's a competitor. It's got to be eating at him not to.
We were just together, actually. He was in the office. We spent some time together, and better than you would expect, actually. I'm sure he probably doesn't fully communicate, how much it eats him up. That he's a guy that it's hard for him to go a matter of hours without going back to the gym to work on his game. So to go days in a row where he can't really do much is a challenge. But at the same time, he verbalized to me that it's good that each day he's able to do a little bit more. He was on the bike yesterday. He lifted weights today. So he's making progress towards coming back, which is awesome. And I think that helps him feel better mentally.
In the past week, you've probably learned more about the oblique than any of us ever will. What exactly is the issue?
Don't really have much more to share than we've already given.
Shaka, it's kind of a timeline or a crystal ball type question, but you said confident he'll play soon. Are you targeting Thursday the 14th? Is that a possibility? Do you think, as far as the tournament goes, he could be available?
It's absolutely a possibility. The reason that we said what we said in the release is I think barring a miracle, he won't play this week in our last two regular season games. And where that puts us is that our next game would be on Thursday, that following Thursday in New York. And there is a distinct possibility that he will play, but it's not for certain. So it gives us a chance to evaluate him early in that next week and leading up to that game. And so the information we've shared is what we know.
A guy with his experience, are you more comfortable than maybe with it had been a first-year player or something, if it's a deal where he doesn't play in the Big East tournament at all, and you have to kind of throw him back in the NCAAs?
Yeah, I think the more experience you have and the more confidence you have, the less important the practice reps are. Ideally, you'd love to have practice reps for everyone. And I'll tell you, not having Tyler in practice, that has a downstream effect on other guys on our team because he's such a positive domino in terms of his basketball IQ, his leadership, the way that he impacts people. But it is what it is. But absolutely, I mean, if he was cleared on a Wednesday to play on a Thursday, we would throw him out there, and we feel pretty confident that he would be ready to go.
You've had weekly meetings with Tyler and Oso since the summer. Why'd you start doing that, and what's been the benefits of doing that?
I meet with all our guys. I do class meetings with each of the classes, and then I meet with our guys individually. I think that, and I've learned this from some of my coaching mentors, some of whom I've never met, that coaching your team is different than coaching your players. And so it's my job as we coach the team every day in practice and games and scouting, preparation, all that, that we also coach our players. And most of that is the mental, emotional side of, being at their best. And then some of it is some basketball specifics.
Also said one of your themes this year was acceptance, like not trying to fight thoughts or feelings.
Yeah, that's not a theme this year. That's a theme for life. I mean, tied for first is the most important thing you can do.
How have you seen those guys embrace that message, Tyler and Oso specifically?
Well, I think that what we're trying to do is challenging. It's much easier from the sidelines to, as we say, be in the crowd as opposed to be a gladiator. And so if you are in the arena as a gladiator, then full acceptance of whatever is, and that's what just happened, that's what's going on in the moment, that's the current circumstances that are outside of your control. That allows you to do what's next. And I think some people get acceptance confused with resignation. You just resign to that this or that is going to happen. It's not the same. It's, hey, this is really, really hard because of X, Y, and Z. We're going to win anyway. And we're going to do A, B, and C to make sure that we do. And I think Tyler and Oso have done as well with that as anyone I've ever coached.
Oso is such a unique offensive player. How has he helped you expand your mind offensively?
Well, he's unique on both ends of the floor. He's the most unique player I've ever coached. He's the most unselfish of the great players that I've ever coached. It's easy for a walk-on to be unselfish because that's kind of your role. But when you're an all-conference player, when you're a guy talked about to be picked in the next NBA draft, and you have that level of selflessness to you, that's special. And I don't know if I'll ever coach a guy that has the unique combination of personality traits, interpersonal traits, and basketball traits that he has. He's really challenged us to think differently on both ends of the floor because of what he can do. The last thing you want to do when you have a guy like that is follow the traditional pathway of this is how basketball is played on offense or on defense, because he transcends position, and he's been terrific.
Can you explain to me what get action is, when you run that through
Get action. That's when, if you're Oso and I'm Cam, I have the ball, I throw it to you, and then I cut over the top of you. That's a get. So now there's a lot of different options off of that, but that's the simple explanation of it.
Is the benefit just creating hesitation in the defense, or just
Well, it's a little bit different than a pick and roll because Oso actually has the ball, and so the coverage can tend to be different. So, for example, one of UConn's players, backup big, is really good in a pick and roll. If you're setting a screen for me, jumping out and hedging. Well, if you do that and you already have the ball, then maybe now you can drive if you're Oso. So it just changes things up. It also allows for different types of cutting as opposed to cutting over the top. There's different things you can do. And when you have a guy like Oso, who's a really good decision maker and passer, it opens up your options. Now, when you do it with Ben Gold and you add in his shooting, that's even more of a reason to throw him the ball.